Jeff, I was laughing yesterday because obviously you were making a few calls into Ali when it was the answer machine. Kept coming on and no Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Do you know, when I went to Celtic, one of the first people I bumped into, because of Terry Earlert, was Ali.
Right.
Ali McCoy. And I played for Celtic, obviously, so you're not meant to mix with. And I met Terry Earlert because I played with Terry at Millwall.
Yeah.
And he was with Ali, and it was like, oh, I'm not sure I've done the right thing. I'm with two Rangers players. I've only been in Celtic literally 10 days. But yeah, I met Ali early doors. So, and he was typical what Ali's like, lively, and really had good fun, you know? Great fun.
I mean, look, he's probably going to turn up at one of the games tonight, I would imagine. I've got no idea which one, but I would imagine, he'll be at one of the games tonight. Obviously, there's an FA Cup game. You wouldn't know it. I mean, you wouldn't know that Exeter City are playing tonight against Nottingham Forest because it's completely overshadowed by Real Madrid's visit to Manchester City. You wouldn't have known, actually. I'm going to have my first grumble of the day. You wouldn't have known that Doncaster were playing Crystal Palace last night, unless you're a fan of Doncaster or Crystal Palace, because the BBC put it on the blooming iPlayer. The iPlayer. Why have you got the FA Cup rights if you're not going to show it on TV?
Yeah, it's a weird one, Jeff. And it's been a really... If you think from Friday night to over the weekend to where we are today, Jeff, on FA Cup ties, it's been a really weird... It is adopting the American style of literally games on every day of the week at all different times. I did Leyton Orient at 12:15 Saturday morning, and I'm watching 8 o'clock Saturday night Chelsea.
Yeah. Well,
scheduling, and I understand to a certain degree, but I thought last night and then, like you said, tonight.
I mean, last night, usual stuff on BBC One. BBC Two was showing the grand tour of Scottish rivers, Mastermind, University Challenge, and the Balkans, Europe's forgotten frontier, rather than showing the football. I mean, I just think it devalues it. The FA Cup. It's not been a weekend. It started on Friday night. We're still going on Tuesday. And I feel for Doncaster because they didn't get the exposure. I mean, they didn't get the result they wanted. They didn't get the exposure. And Exeter, I know the game's sold out tonight, against Forest. But what a big FA Cup game that is.
Yeah, it is.
Especially after what happened to Liverpool at the weekend.
Yeah.
It should be taking pride of place. And it won't be. Because of Manchester City against Real Madrid.
There's some good news for you, Jeff. The next round, they're played over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the 1st and 2nd of March. So there's the good news. And Crystal Palace have got Millwall, which is a feisty tie in itself.
It is.
I was at I think it's about 1978, Jeff. I went to, in League One, which it was now, it was the old Division 3, Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park against Millwall. There was 39,000 at the game.
Yeah.
In
39,000.
39,000. I remember being there, and it was one of the early, games that I went to, when I was watching football, and I remember being shocked that a League One game, because that's what it was then, at 39,000.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
But
Palace, with all due respect to Millwall, Palace, Villa, who are at home to Cardiff in the in the last 16. Bournemouth at home to Wolves.
Yeah.
If Forest can beat Exeter, they've got another home draw. They'll all be looking and thinking, well, we've got a great chance of reaching the quarterfinals, and then anything can happen.
Jeff, if you go through the draw, all the clubs you'd think would have a chance to win it, from Man City, maybe Man United, Bournemouth, Newcastle, they're all at home.
Yeah.
They've all got the home draw.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, loads of them. You just mentioned Forest got the home draw.
I mean, look, all I would say is my boy Matt is a big Brighton fan. And the one tie he didn't want was the one that he got away at Newcastle. I mean, it literally could not be any further for the fans to travel. And you're playing a team with banging form as well. Well, who knows? They may not be by the beginning of March.
Yeah.
So it was an FA Cup weekend. Well, I'll use that in inverted commas because it's still going on. And it hasn't disappointed. We saw big teams like Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs go crashing out. So not in the hat, obviously, for round 5. So it's really opened up the chances for other teams. Of course, Arsenal are already out as well. 5th round draw made last night, and we just mentioned it. Big Lancashire derby, Preston against Burnley. That'll be feisty.
Yeah.
That will be feisty.
Yeah.
Villa Cardiff, Palace Millwall, Man United against Fulham. That is no gimme for United. Newcastle against Brighton, Bournemouth Wolves, Man City against Plymouth. Fantastic reward for Plymouth's players, really, for that win over Liverpool at the weekend, and Exeter or Forest against Ipswich. What do you think is the standout game, Tony?
Well, I mentioned Palace Millwall because I thought that was a great tie. You mentioned Newcastle as well, that one against Brighton. But Plymouth, there's something special in that, because to beat the team that are top of the league and then have to play City away and they will take the Green Army all the way to Manchester, it'll make it a cup tie. And it'll be interesting because also the way that Plymouth have played and beaten Brentford and Liverpool, they've played quite direct. And I'm sorry, but I do miss sort of being a bit more direct at times, because I think there's
would, because you wanted it up to your head, didn't you? You know, in your playing days.
I joke with friends. I said I'd have no chance in the modern game of playing in the top flight because of the way the game's played. No chance. Because, but saying that, Chris Wood has done fantastic this season. But the fact that they went with a tactic against Brentford that was exactly the same against Liverpool, and they've had two great results. Plymouth. So fair play to them.
Yeah, a third consecutive Premier League side to face in the FA Cup for them, and it's been brilliant for them. I was so impressed by the manager at the weekend, so impressed. Of course, you mentioned Palace. Palace went to Doncaster last night. They did the business by 2-0. New signing played his first few minutes for the club. He came on for Tariq Mitchell at half-time. His boss, Oliver Glasner, was speaking after the game on what his new left-back will bring to the squad.
Quality, experience, Premier League experience, and also a little bit different profile than T. Mitchell. Yeah, maybe a little bit more attacking, and so it's good to have a few opportunities on this side. But also now it's important to integrate him in the way we are playing. Could see in some habits he has. We want to do it differently, but we're talking a lot. Now that's good. Now we have 45 minutes of video. We can show him what he did well, how we want to play as a team, not for him just individually. So yeah, really, really good to have him in the squad.
Look, on the face of it, Tony, good for Palace, good for Ben Chilwell, but Oliver Glasner said it there. He offers something a bit different from T. Mitchell, as he calls him then. But is Chilwell going to get in that Palace side ahead of Tariq Mitchell?
We don't know that, Jeff, but it's an opportunity. If you go back and look, Jeff, he hasn't played, Ben Chilwell, since 5-0 at home to Barrow in September.
Yeah.
28 years old. I keep seeing him on the adverts on the TV, but I've never seen him playing football at the moment, Ben Chilwell, and he's a top quality left back.
He is.
He gets on the ball, he's attack minded, and look, Cucurella's really done well this season, but if you look at quality at 28 years old, he needs to go and be playing football. Thomas Tuchel's got the international job. Is it so ridiculous that he could find a way back in? England are not got a depth of left backs.
But that is my worry: is how much football will he be playing, or will he find himself in a similar situation as Chelsea? Being a bit of a forgotten man. I hope not, because he's a quality footballer. But Tariq Mitchell has been brilliant for Palace.
Yeah, he has. But Jeff, you'd like to think of a player that's played for England and had a decent career, that if he was having talks with Palace, the one thing he's going there is to play.
Yeah.
And they're going to say to him, well, you're going to be second fiddle and not really get much football. I don't think he'd want that move.
Yeah.
Unless they've talked about maybe him playing or a slightly different system.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. You never know what's within the thinking. But I think it's an opportunity for him.
He's going into a side that are flying at the moment as well. Absolutely flying.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.